E aí, gente, eu sou Caio Vicentini com mais uma entrevista aqui no NGP. Agora eu tô aqui com o Denny Chiu, conversando um pouco sobre as franquias da Bandai, esses últimos jogos que vão sair pelos próximos meses, como Jump Force, esse Combate 7, entre tantos outros. Hello, Denny, how are you?
I'm doing great. BGS has been treating me awesomely.
Nice. Welcome back. It's many times here in Brazil. We already talked to you in many other times here at NGP. But now let's talk about a little bit about Jump Force. All right. Can you tell me what is the difference between Jump Force and, for example, J-Star's Victory and many other games that has these crossovers between franchises that you guys work with? What is the difference between them?
I mean, well, for one thing, Jump Force is really a celebration of the 50th anniversary of everything Jump, everything great about Jump. So we're taking this opportunity to develop a game that hopefully will really carve its own path in terms of style and presentation. I've been talking to a few friends and they're like, hey, it's another anime fighter, and you guys make so many anime fighters, but when you look at our roster of games in that space, they actually have very distinct personalities. So for example, like Dragon Ball FighterZ, 2D, very anime style type graphics. It's almost as if the anime came to life. We put the controller in your hands and then therefore players can battle each other with their favorite Dragon Ball characters, right? Then you have games like Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 or Dragon Ball Xenoverse, even, the latest one, Naruto to Boruto, that just released not too long ago, where now these are kind of like adventure-esque 3D fighting games, right? So now with Jump Force, we're creating a totally different path. One thing, we're going to put all of these characters in our world, right? We're making them look more kind of realistic to how they would be if they entered our world as well. So stylistically, we're hoping that Jump Force really carves its own distinct path amongst all the awesome anime titles that we have.
Yes. I'm glad that you mentioned Dragon Ball FighterZ, because I would like to ask, with the success that we have with Dragon Ball FighterZ, that you guys worked with Arc Systems, right? Is there any chance that Bandai starts working with other developers to work on Bandai's franchises?
We're a publisher that loves to work with great talent, and at the end of the day, we would never limit ourselves to only working with certain studios or certain developers. I mean, what we're after is great talent, development talent that's going to make great games for us to bring to our fans and our customers at the end of the day. So we would never limit ourselves.
All right. So, I would like to ask, I don't know if you can answer me that, but what is this decision process to bring these characters to these franchises? Obviously, you're always gonna try to bring Goku, Naruto, but what is the decision process here?
It's not an easy process, I can tell you that much, because at the end of the day, making a game, if you included everybody's characters, every character, you would never release a game, right? So at the end of the day, we're trying to strike a balance. Certain characters we know are highly popular, certain characters are less popular, but maybe those franchises have cult followings and we want to honor those franchises as well. But when you boil it all down, it's a very sensitive process. We know that a lot of times we might not please all the people all the time with all of our decisions, but we're doing our best to do so. Obviously, by including all of the most popular franchises, you have most of the people covered, probably 90 to 95%, but there's always the 5% that will be like, hey, how come you didn't include this character? That's my favorite character. Well, well, not too bad, but you are in the 5% range, right? So we're trying to make most people happy with our selections, obviously. And beyond that, by selecting different characters in different franchises, you still have to make all of these different characters work cohesively together in one single game. So that's another part of the decision making process that we factor in in selecting our characters.
Yes, you just mentioned community, the community trying to please most of the community, and I would like to change a little bit to Soulcalibur, because every new game you try to bring an outsider character, from Link to Darth Vader, to Ezio, and this time you guys are bringing Geralt from the Witcher franchise. Does the community, in this case too, do they have some kind of voice in deciding to bring this outsider character to the Soulcalibur franchise?
Well, I mean, The Witcher has been a phenomenal franchise, and it's generated such passion amongst gamers of all cultures around the world. And seeing the character of Geralt, he's just a natural fit. We didn't even really need to tap the community for Geralt to be considered one of the guest characters for Soulcalibur VI. I mean, it's just a natural fit. His presentation, his style, his persona really works in the Soulcalibur universe, so it was really a natural thing for us to go with Geralt this time.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Ace Combat 7. In this time, Ace Combat 7 is kind of different from the previous one, also to Horizon. It's like a throwback to the PlayStation 2 games. And does the community have a lot of weight in this decision? Because in also to Horizon, we had like a real war with real countries, and this time we're going back to the Strangeverse with all the fictional countries in the universe. So the community had any weight in that?
To tell you the truth, this one, I believe it's safe to say, it was really Kono-san's decision to bring it back to the canon storyline that he's been working on since the PlayStation days, or the PlayStation 2 days. So at the end of the day, we're always monitoring, community sentiment and whatnot. But in terms of creative direction in Ace Combat 7's case, I think the dev team really wanted to go back to the strange real world that they had created before and really develop that. It's been a long time since we actually revisited that world, and I think players that have been with the franchise since the beginning, even the PlayStation days, are really going to enjoy where we're taking the franchise with Ace Combat 7. For new players that have never played the game before, the one thing that Ace Combat does really well is it's easy to get into. Like, don't let the crazy realistic graphics intimidate you into thinking, oh my god, do I really need to know how to fly an airplane to play this game? No. It's so easy to pick up and play, and combine that with the dynamic storyline, combine that with the stellar graphics, and now with PlayStation VR, combine that with some VR experience. I mean, this is the quintessential aerial combat game that you'll get to enjoy in this generation.
This is as I said before, this is like a throwback to the mechanics, all the story. But what does this new game brings to the table, like something new? What does the Ace Combat 7 brings to the franchise as something new?
So I think it's going to be a mix of classic elements that people love about Ace Combat, and obviously new upgrades in terms of, the smoothness of the game, the graphics of the game, the presentation. VR adds a whole new aspect to the presentation and the experience for players. I mean, have you had a chance to play the demo downstairs?
Yes, I played it 2 times.
2 times. So obviously you really liked it, right? And one of the things that struck me the most as an Ace Combat fan and player for a long time as well is, first time I picked up the controller, I'm like, okay, I'm totally familiar with how this works right off the bat, right? But secondly, I started looking around the plane. I see a lot more detail. Then I'd start engaging enemies. I'm like, whoa, I just took that guy out. Look at everything trailing off the enemy, the flame, the smoke, the particle effects. It just immerses me, and hopefully all of the players that are going to pick up the game soon, it really immerses you into the Ace Combat world and into the cockpit of those jet fighters.
Right, very good. this is like a new game to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Is there any chance to bring new missions via DLC? Because the VR portion is Combat 7. There's going to be 3 VR missions.
That is correct.
Yes. Is there any chance that we're going to see more either traditional or more VR missions after the launch of the game?
That remains to be seen. I would, tell players and fans to stay tuned. We don't want to give away all our secrets and news all at once. But that's one of the great things about being a gamer today. Like, a long time ago, you buy a game, it's just that one experience, and once you're done, you're pretty much done unless you want to replay the game. Now, in today's gaming world, we can always update games. We can change the balance of games. We can add more characters, new levels, new modes. It makes the longevity of titles that we release that much longer, and it offers players, that much more value to their game purchase, because one game can last them much longer than before.
All right. So last question, like a personal question to me. When are we going to see a new Digimon game?
Oh, so a Digimon fan, are we?
Yeah.
We love Digimon at Bandai Namco as well. So, I won't keep my lips sealed for now, but Digimon's definitely part of the Bandai Namco makeup. So, stay tuned.
All right. Let's wait and see. Thank you very much for your time. All right.
Thank you.
Hope to see you again in the next events. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Então, galera, é isso aqui por hoje. Acompanhe a gente no nosso site www.newgameplus.com.br. Assine o nosso canal do YouTube. A gente tem muita novidade da BGS ainda vindo por aí. Então, eu sou Caio Vicentino do NGP e até a próxima.